Hi, my name is Jahangir and you're watching News and Views. Today's topic is sanctions. Do the sanctions work? Sometimes they do, and more often than not, they don't. Let's take an example of North Korea. At the height of Cold War in 50s, Korea was having a civil war between the two factions. At the time, Western or capitalist countries put forces on the ground in Korea which were countered by communist proxies. Korea eventually divided into two, North and South. 5,000 miles from nearest Western country, they still have military presence in Korean Peninsula. I have a separate video on Cold War that you can watch by clicking the link at the end of this video or at the top now. Since then, West has been putting sanctions on North Korea. As North Korea could not match the might of Western conventional forces, it had two options in the face of sanctions and threat of war: back down or find a deterrent. It created a nuclear deterrent and means to deliver it. In spite of all the sanctions, Kim dynasty is still ruling the people. North Korea did try to have a rapprochement. It even unilaterally closed or destroyed its nuclear tunnels, but the Rocket Man, as he was called at the time, was snubbed. 4,000 civilians have died since that snub, as a direct result of sanctions. For last 70 years, people of North Korea are suffering due to one form of sanctions or other. Irrespective of government inclination of North Korea, putting sanctions on it is only making life of common citizens miserable. Rocket Man, on the other hand, is still firing rockets, 11 since the start of this year. If you look at Iran, for last 50 years since the Islamic Revolution, West has been putting sanctions on Iran. West even supported Saddam Hussein of Iraq against its war with Iran by aid and dual technology. What is Iran trying to achieve now? Nuclear deterrent. Iran also tried rapprochement and even had an agreement with P5+1 nations. But United States pulled out of that agreement unilaterally, putting even stronger sanctions on Iran. Because of sanctions during COVID wave, Iran couldn't even procure vaccines for its population as it could not use the payment system. You can imagine how many civilian deaths could have been prevented. Although both Iran and North Korea are suffering, but they are both surviving for more than 50 years under various sanction regimes. Both Iran and North Korea had found ways to evade these sanctions either by local production or by circumventing embargo, finding friendly countries to trade with and countries that are already under sanctions. There is no excuse for Russia, or for that matter, any capitalist or communist invading another country, irrespective of pretext. But are sanctions the solution? Would it deter Russia when it has already invaded Ukraine? Corporate companies are pulling out of Russia because sanctions are making transactions or doing business difficult. The list includes food and beverages companies like Coke and Starbucks, music, entertainment, transportation, even toy companies like Lego. The government of Russia will have no impact due to this, but who will suffer? The ordinary people like you and me. If Russian government is wrong, does it mean every citizen of the country is wrong? It is like saying every black person is a murderer. Would you punish everyone for the fault of one or some? Cost of civilian lives cannot justify any invasion or sanctions from either side. The best course of action would be to sit with non-conforming regimes and understand their concerns instead of judging them, and then trying to find a common ground. For more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. Thank you.